people get to try to get people out there directly, right? But if there's no commitment in place, those people would just yeah, if you want to go cheap, go upward, find people upward, and good luck.
It's time to down tools for a bit. Welcome to the ToolShed, the influential podcast for anyone and everyone involved in the building industry. Here's your host, Mick Hawes.
Hey there, before we kick off, I want to share a really important thought. 71% of you who watch this channel frequently don't subscribe. So if you've enjoyed any video you've ever watched, can you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button? It helps the channel more than you think, and the bigger the channel gets, the bigger the guests get. So let's go. Hey there, I'm Mick Hawes from Builders Business Black Belt, and welcome to another episode of the ToolShed podcast. In this episode, I'm talking to Joey Hidalgo, and Joey runs the measurement company. Joey migrated from the Philippines and started up this business in Australia. He's currently in Victoria, Melbourne, Victoria, and has built a very successful business helping builders or businesses in the construction industry with estimating. And it's something that we talk a lot about in Black Belt, being able to get it right, being able to do it in an efficient manner. And it always seems to be one of those things that many builders seem to think that takes a lot of time, and it does create a lot of distress getting that right. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation. I hope you do too. Because there are a number of things that I think you can take away from it. We do cover the concepts and the ideas behind being able to be effective and accurate with your estimating, but we also have conversations about the mindset, the importance of growing your mindset in relation to growing your business. So please enjoy this conversation with Joey Hidalgo. Before we get into that conversation, I want to remind you, if you haven't taken the Builders Freedom Readiness Scorecard, there is a link in the description. The idea of it is if you've been in business for, let's say, 10 years plus and you're still struggling with some financial stress, if that gets in on top of you from time to time, or you don't get the amount of free time in your business that you would like, there are some really simple things that you can do to start to expand the free time that you can enjoy, but also eliminate the financial stress. And if you're willing to take 2 minutes just to go through that scorecard, you will get a report delivered to you that will have actions, very specific actions that you can take to implement and move towards a bit more time freedom and eliminating your financial stress. So go do the scorecard after you've listened to this conversation with Joey. Welcome, Joey. I'm laughing because we've been wrestling with technology for quite a while to make this happen. We had all sorts of audio problems and what have you, and internet problems, and now it's wonderfully good. So welcome to the podcast. We had a fantastic conversation on your podcast. We'll make sure we put the link to that podcast, your podcast, in the description for this one as well. But you have a company. It's called the Measuring Company. The reason we were talking was because you provide a service for builders and the construction industry, which is one of the things that many builders find it difficult to let go of, but they don't like doing it at the same time, the majority of them, and that is doing the quotes and the estimating, the pricing, all of that sort of stuff. They'll tell me that it takes a lot of time, and in many cases they're doing it and they don't even know whether they're going to get the job. You know, there's all sorts of flaws in the approach, but I'm really interested to know what you saw in the building industry that caused you to want to put together a company that does this for builders. How did it all get started?
Right, okay. So what happened is that I work for a tradie, right?
Yeah.
And I actually had my first clients as my co-workers
Yeah.
because they saw that I'm winning jobs, yeah,
Yeah.
and here they are. they're running the jobs that I've won.
Yeah.
And then later on, I'm still in the company, and they're starting their own way. And they reach out to me saying, Joey, can you help me out? Well, I cannot do that at working hours. I could do it only after hours. So I was technically moonlighting. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and because I was able to create my own, um, way of doing it myself,
Yes. Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
I was able to set up an estimating system for the company that I used to work for, and obviously it's in the brain. So I created my own format, different approach, different technology, and I dabbled with it, and it works. So but still the same approach. And here they are, they're going next in line from each other and saying, because I've been referred by someone and so, and later all friends of friends of friends
Mm.
become my clients, and I say, hang on, this is getting more serious. Then I move on to a bigger mob, and they still this clients of, I mean, technically my first few clients that really, when I took it off, were from a tier two company that we try to win jobs, multi-million dollar deals. And the PMs also comes back to me saying, Joey, I've started this thing in my own, and I couldn't win the job, can you help me out? And that's the epiphany. And I said, you know what, why would I stick on working utilize or helping out only one company, but there's more who
Mm.
actually needs this.
Yeah.
And I believe that's where this whole thing came along, of just being able to help out. And the typical scenario that's happening in the industry is there's someone's gonna price that just crazily stupid,
Mm.
because they don't know how to do it, and they don't know how to put their hand up. But hang on, there are people who realizes that that's not their strength. And that's even when they grow their business, you need to actually do something better. You cannot just be on wearing too many hats. You're like a headless chook running everything, right, as a
Yeah.
business owner, which is actually part of what you try to fix. I mean, you fix up with your own coaching, right, or mentoring with your
Yeah.
own community, right?
Yeah.
So hindsight, we had like probably 10 clients already. And I said, you know what? I can stop my career now working for someone and probably make it as a full-time gig.
Yeah.
And that's that where it started. And later, some people, I mean, some clients have been referred to us saying, oh, can you also do this and that? And hang on. Okay. Um, we're not geared towards that yet. But a bit of they say, well, I'm happy to share you what I know, just I mean, make sure you can do this for us. I'm just being transparent. No, I mean, this is the first time I'm going to do this, and if you're happy with this, we'll evolve as we go along. And then here they are, they give us an opportunity again to, let's say, we work with a carpenter, we work with a tiler, we work with a painter, and here they are now. I mean, we're our multi-trade support, but I couldn't stretch myself. So we started as, I mean, as a service company. So I call it STR, meaning service.
Mm.
And then eventually we had to train more people. So the T, which is the training part,
Yeah.
right? And here it is. Now we are a recruitment company because a client says, "Oh, I like the guy you gave us you involved on this project." Because what I do is I also bring on the person who has done the job, because I'm not gonna pretend that I've outsourced it to someone, right? But technically, I bring that person under my wing, and that became part of my team members. And but the client say, "Oh, he's good. I don't want him to, I mean, if I can get him direct to me, why not?"
Mm.
Right? And I said, and some clients actually even circumnavigate towards that. But I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you cannot stop them from doing that. But hang on, I said, okay, maybe if I can really create this, I mean, system in such a way that they now have like an in-house estimator, but not losing, still losing the also the benefit of the person being utilized remotely,
Yep.
right? Because that's my intention. I want to make sure that they're also being looked after, not just because I get money on top, but they are well looked after. Because
Yep.
entities in Australia, you won't be able to process whatever is entitlement in the Philippines, right?
Mm.
So okay, now we are an SDR. So system, sorry. So we actually service clients until now. We also provide a training, which is the TMC Academy,
Yep.
and then we do provide the recruitment now. And you would might notice on some of my posts on LinkedIn and even on socials, we do have people that we've trained, and some of our clients sponsored them
To
to
come
come to
out to
Australia.
Australia, yeah, wicked.
Yeah. Yeah. And because their investment with the person to develop them, and they thought, you know what, I don't think if I find anyone else who would be able to really do this thing for us. I mean, because we also train them with technology, not just it's not just about the capability of the, or shall we say, the time that that person can do. So we really create difference, which is the SOT framework. So the three-legged stool approach that we have, which is system, operator, and training. So we find the operator. So at least the clients would really be happy with the operator we put in. Typically, we look at the background where that person is, let's say, engineering, or at least related to construction or architect, and that creates that their knowledge already with the design, the computer, and also the numbers, because they're doing it. That's very natural, unlike tradies and builders that, who actually work. That's why they end up running the business, is they were good on the tools but not really on tech, on computers, right?
Yeah.
So that's where we can complement,
Yep.
and that gap is, we're obviously trying to fill it up in such a way we can possibly can. And we're just growing in the right time, right pace as well. And a lot of remote workers in the Philippines, they tend to actually work with American companies first, prior to Australia.
Mm.
So that's where this advantage that we are doing is, we created this platform for them to learn how we do it here, the Aussie way. I call it uh, AWE, method. So if they learn it the way we do it here, and our clients are happy, and obviously provide a constant training as well with the person, and we help them set up the system. So if a client says, "No, I don't want to use whatever system you have," fair enough. As long as we understand that system, we can transfer that knowledge with our operator, then, and to complement the training between us and also the client, then it they actually even get their own like unicorn estimator,
Mm.
because you cannot find that anywhere now, because you've transferred your own knowledge. I transferred also my IP, and it's a mix skill that they can't find it anywhere. And I don't think you'd find that anywhere. And that's why some of them, they ended up really, oh, I like that person, and want that person to grow also with a company, and might be involved a little bit more in other aspects, not just estimating. So it becomes a stepping stone as well for people to actually build their dream life in Australia.
Yeah. But listening to all of that, it's ticking a few boxes in my mind. Obviously, I'm not a builder, but I hang around with lots of builders and help them with their problems. And one of the things that we talk about a lot in Black Belt, and it just makes sense, that when you do something over and over, you become quite good at it, particularly if you've had some good training, and you've got good systems and you've got good technology to use. You can get very effective at something if you're doing it all the time. And a builder is talking to clients. They're managing a team. They're managing sites and wrangling subbies and materials and
Whatnot.
doing all of the accounting and all of that sort of stuff. So it's not as if they do is estimating. And
Correct.
what makes sense to me here is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's an opportunity for the smaller builder, so the smaller residential builder, to firstly tap into your team, because you've got a team of people who are expert at that specific thing, so they can do a very high quality job quite quickly, freeing the builder up. And then over time, that builder can get to know somebody that you've got on your team, and they get to know each other's systems and processes and preferences and all of that sort of stuff. So
Mhm.
they get a better relationship, and then eventually there's a possibility for that person, as the building business grows, that estimator can join that team remotely, and then eventually even join the team physically and come out to Australia. Have I got that right? Is that the process? Is that the potential journey?
Well, it's already happening now, Mick.
Yeah.
It's already happening now, and the beauty of that combination is that where can you get where can you get uh invested, right? I mean, a person who's really, I mean, invested in your company to even make you win or help you win, because that person now is inclined towards to coming to Australia. And I always say to every client, hang on, this person might work for you for 2 to 3 years,
Mm,
but it's not forever, because this person is eyeing to come to Australia.
mm,
And here you are. I mean, what's in it for you? Obviously, you want to make sure that this person also do the right thing for you, for your work, right?
yeah.
So how can that person ask a character reference, or even just for the visa purposes, if that person won't do the right thing for you,
Yeah.
right? So it's a checkmate. I mean, we just have we put like a gentleman's agreement, shall we say, right? That
Yeah.
invisible agreement that, hang on, you got to do the right thing for me, you got to do. And oftentimes here's the situation too, you get people get to try to get people out there directly, right? But if there's no commitment in place,
Yeah.
those people would just yeah, if you want to go cheap, go Upwork, find people at Upwork,
Mm.
and good luck. The scenario and the scenario that can happen here is that that person might just, I mean, fly by night,
Mm.
right? Or you won't be able to even contact that person, because that person doesn't have commitment. It might be serving multiple clients, and you're just on probably third or fourth that
Yeah.
they're serving,
Yeah.
right? But if you establish that connection, saying, hang on, I want to look after you, and if you're going to do well for me, for my company, and who knows, I might consider actually, I mean, having you to come here, and here you are, you became part of the business.
Yeah.
Or shall we say, I mean, you become really a physical team member, not just a
Yeah.
virtual.
Yeah.
So we've shake up. I mean, and one of the key aspects that I've also shared, very recent guesting or speaking event in Master Builders Victoria, Australia Association, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, how was for me, right? How was I even able to address the diversity campaign that we're pushing for, which is a lot of us migrants, right, are culturally and linguistically diverse and challenged to get into the industry. Now, what we're also fixing here is actually the skills gap in Australia, which is, hang on, we want people to actually come in Australia at least already know what's happening or how to do the job,
Yeah.
instead of them coming to Australia and here they are, because they're highly qualified, but they don't have a local experience. They're going to drive Uber, they're going to clean toilets, they're going to wash dishes. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not looking down on those jobs, but the thing is, these people, the very reason Australia, I mean open arms to get them to come in, is for them to be able to add value to the
Mm.
country,
Contribute.
contribute to the country. Yeah, and here they are, they don't even, they're not even get a chance. And how we're evolved, our all, I mean, our mission in TMC is that we help you find the right person to work with you remotely, and eventually that person might be, I mean, could be able to really build their future, I mean, future here in Australia. And Australia is also being built by these people from the get-go, from even on remote.
Yeah. I just wanted to address just a couple of concerns that I have been asked about over the years, because it was something that we introduced into Black Belt, the concept of virtual assistants in a building business maybe 6 years ago. And when we first started to talk about it, it was nothing but pushback. It was like people just weren't interested in it because, they couldn't do what I do, and they wouldn't be able to do the job, and da da da. But we weren't just talking about estimating like that was completely off the table at that point. It was just other stuff like running a calendar and managing email and things like that, and people just couldn't see the value in it. Fast forward to today, we've got some of our members that have got teams of virtual assistants and great relationships and incredible efficiencies and effectiveness, and built terrific teams. But there's at least two concerns that popped up, and I wonder if they still pop up, and if they do, how you answer them. The first one is I guess they said, by having a virtual assistant, and from an Australian dollar perspective, you're not paying them all that much. It's a little bit like slave labour. They didn't feel good about it. Plus, it's taking jobs away from Australians. And I have my own answers to that, and I think it's all good. Like, it's wonderful. Cliss is one of our team members, and she's in the Philippines, and she's absolutely critical to our business, and she does a fantastic job. But how do you still get that, or is that sort of was an objection, if you like, or a bit of resistance from years gone by, or does it still happen today?
Probably the question is towards the traditional BPO industry out there.
Mm,
Like, let's just say a Caucasian or white guy actually hiring these people, and they get paid on top, right?
yeah,
Our model is very different. We put that person directly to our client,
yeah,
and so the client knows how much they're paying that person,
yeah,
and we're only facilitating the arrangement. So also the person knows what he's getting, whatever he's happy, and the fee that he's getting from where he is relatively really high compared to a standard income there, or
yeah.
an average income, even for some, let's say, for newbies. They get like potentially twice or thrice sometimes.
Mm, wow.
So how can you I mean, with those people who are still thinking that they're getting lower wage, no, I live in that country. I mean, a quarter, I mean, 3/4 of my life, shall we say, that I was there, and I know a good pay and not a good pay,
Mm,
right? And I think that's where this whole dynamics of, if they're getting paid enough, well, they ask for the right price that they feel as well. We give them as well a guidance, and as well where the client also wants their budget.
yeah,
But obviously, it's not. I mean, I always say this as well. That's why I have that ladder, or created ladder, that, hang on, you can work remotely, but don't expect that you're gonna get paid the same as a local in Australia, unless you change your zip code,
mm, mm,
right? Because your zip code matters where you are, and where the jurisdiction of what's the fair. I mean, let's say in fair work, how much is you gotta get paid? I mean, because of that rate, right? But you're in a land where that is acceptable. That fee is actually acceptable, and obviously Australian companies and New Zealand companies are able to maximize that advantage of dollar to peso parity.
Mm.
That's the only thing that we're doing anyway in here. Now, on their side, as for the client, if they see that the value that the person is really bringing to them, and if they see, oh, I've invested on training this person, worked with us for a couple of years now, and here they are. I mean, I think they might be a good asset as well, even if when they come here. Then I think that dynamics changes now. On obviously they're gonna provide now a salary on Australian rate or New
Mm.
Zealand rate.
Yeah. But
So that's my
the
way of
cost of living
approaching.
here is very different as well. So like it's all swings and roundabouts. The other concern that comes from the builders when we started to talk about this is
Hmm.
the pricing accuracy. Like, you know, when you start your own business and you're doing the pricing, and I chuckle about this because we just created we created a couple of tools for our black belt members just of recent times. Really simple tools. One is a tool to figure out what the on-site hourly rate needs to be to cover all wage on cost, off-site wages, all overheads, everything, and it can be put to an hourly rate. And then we also created a project price checker. So you know you put half dozen figures from your quote into this price checker, and see whether you've priced it correctly or not. And it's shocked even our members. It's like, oh, I don't think I've been charging enough, or what have you. So that's one side of it. And the reason I laughed is because oftentimes the builder will say, well, I couldn't trust a virtual estimator to get it right, because if I go with that price, if that price is accepted and there's a mistake in it, I'm the one who pays. The estimator doesn't pay, if you like. So it costs me. So I need to be accurate. And it's like, well, that's fair and reasonable, but a lot of times they weren't pricing it right themselves in the first place. So I don't know. I'd feel a bit more comfortable with someone who's doing it all the time. How do you guys stay uh, on the front edge of the wave as far as pricing is concerned, stay accurate, and give the builder, your client, the confidence that the estimation that you've put together, they can rely on it? What are the checks and balances there?
Well, it takes two to tango, I would say.
Yeah.
There's a part of us that we help our clients establish the system to make sure that where is the ground rules that they can play, right? And a good example of this, Marcus, right?
Yep.
How does Marcus operate, but they only have a high school? And they don't even accept someone from uni unless they become a manager, right?
Mm.
So imagine that having a system that's churning churning and churning, right? An output, right? Consistent output. The price would be the same. Even if you eat anywhere, it's still the same. The
Mm.
burgers, sometimes it's not fixed up properly, but still the flavor is the same. So something to that effect, right? We won't be able to perfect it in we cannot capture someone else's I mean mindset. But if we can transfer, if we could capture 80% of the business owner's decision making in every time they estimate, and the 20% is where the business decision that the boss would say, hang on, I might be able to put a little bit more, or maybe we could do something else different. So as you build that skill with the person that you bring in, eventually you're transferring the knowledge that you might have and documenting that as well, right? Because the best thing that you should have, I would say, is not just rely on the operator. You should have a benchmark system. The system has to be able to capture the data. Let's say you hit and miss this time, but on the next one, you learn how you go along and say, hang on, maybe we need to incorporate this costing now, or we have to allow this now because we missed that bit on last time. So it's just about the correction. And oftentimes you do a test case, you do a test, right? There's always going to be a way that, I mean, no one can think the way you do. And that's a good exercise that you just said as well. On our end, we also work with clients saying, hang on, what is really your charged out rate? Because if you cannot even tell me that, how can that person that we're putting in are gonna be happy on, I mean, or be able to make sure do it the way you do?
Mm.
So it's very simple. We really interview our clients saying, these are the information, these are the data we need. For example, let's be specific here.
Mm.
So labor, overhead, I mean, and material costings, right? Okay, and profit, and obviously there's an equipment. So if we come up with some figures here that they base it, they talk to our accountant and they come up with what's the labor cost and labor cell, and then the overhead, all the thing that the only thing that actually the estimator influences is the labor allocation. How many hours is it? 15 minutes, 20, I mean 30 minutes, one
Yeah.
hour. Let's we kind of look at it in on a chunk. We don't do it per minute. I mean, some on some aspects we always look at it like, say, oh, I mean, we we humans, we don't always count. I mean, how many minutes I've done this? No, I mean, I mean, less than 1 minute now, whatever. No, we look at it in a chunks, right? So it's so simple. I mean, I would say it's so easy to skin the cat once the system is there, and you can poke around, say, hang on, I think we didn't allow much in here, or I think we over allowed on this part. Maybe we can adjust it in a way that we can be more competitive. So every estimate that we do is very different. I mean, and even like I said, right now we're still serving clients. Every client that we price, we only price it one client, one project at a time. We don't, I mean, price multiple projects, and it's, I mean, for multiple clients at a same time, because we make sure that we capture the data that they need, and we inject that in our costing. And then often, I mean, a lot of our clients who say, oh, I didn't know that you we can do it that way. Yes, you can. And here you are, and you are now, and you can sharpen your pricing where you can, because we've shown you how that number works. So and I look at P&L, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you can talk to an accountant, teach you, accountant can teach you how to do, I mean, to analyze that. But me myself, I'm looking at my own business. So why can't I share that knowledge? But hang on, you always got to look back and check. I mean, with your accountant if the numbers were really done properly.
Yeah.
So there's a easier way to analyze this all of these numbers, and but with someone's an expert, a professional who's gonna do it for you. I mean, that avoids already the issue of just missing or making a wrong costing.
Yeah.
And and here it is, Mick. So funny that you would always get 9 out of 10. I always get a client saying, well, how much do they price it out there?
Mm.
And the simplest answer is, mate, you should not fucking care about their number. Because right now, if you're looking at their number, you don't know how many boys they have on site, or girl. I mean, tradies they have,
Yeah.
ladies as well on. I mean, on in the office, or I mean,
Yeah.
maybe on the tools as well.
Yeah.
How many cars you have? How many trucks? How
Yeah.
many? I mean, how much is your overhead of your office? You're not the same. So you should not be comparing it with them. The only time that you would compare is, hang on, why did the other guy win against you if your price is already sharp? That's the only time you got to look at it. But if you're going to look at your perspective now, that how what is the going rate, that's a recipe for disaster if you're just going to copy someone else, because those numbers were plucked. I mean, maybe that person even plucked that number in the air and haven't, I mean, obviously didn't consider your own numbers, how much you want to make, right? And I don't dictate a client saying, oh, you put in 20%, oh, you put in 30%. It's your decision, it's your business, not mine.
Mm.
But the best thing that I could do is give you a feel where we see the market. And obviously market shifts, there's always a shift on what kind of project it is. Is it educational sector? Is it government sector? Is it, I mean, commercial sector?
Mm.
Numbers change in every aspect where it is. So you cannot use the same price that you, I mean, obviously you have your own initial basis as because of your own numbers in your business. As long as you understand your own numbers in your business, then you try to compete out there. Then you always have a feedback loop. Why didn't I win? Or was I too sharp? Or sometimes you are already sharp, but because the builder or the client just doesn't trust you, I mean, it doesn't mean that your price is wrong.
Mhm.
So I always also share this very simple concept. You gotta have. I mean, this is a very simple concept. I truly believe that when you are estimate, I mean, when you're tendering for a job, there's like a ratio of 100%, which is you win the job, right? But if you put a tender, you have the 50-50 chance right away of winning the job, right? Now, you don't have that 50-50 if you don't put submit a tender. But if you submit, then what's the next thing? The other 20, I mean, other 50%. The other 50% is technically it's a split of 25% of the other one is how competitive is your price, how confident the client sees that your price is good. The other thing that they would look at is, do you have relationship, even if he's your brother or cousin, whatever, right? If they don't trust you, even if your number is sharp, that last 25% is a deal breaker. It's
It's
going to be a
about
deal breaker.
value. It's people
Correct.
seeing value rather than and I believe that the majority of people make decisions based on value in any case. So it's in my mind, it's never about the price. It's about your ability to communicate value, and the price is the price, you know. And I honestly don't know any builders that on purpose try to rip their clients off. Like they're virtually all the ones that I know are trying to be price competitive, and I encourage them not to be. I encourage them to be value competitive. Hey, I hope you're enjoying this conversation with Joey. I'm finding it absolutely fascinating. We've broken this conversation into 2 parts, and I really encourage you to hit the subscription button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and manage the notifications so you get notified when part 2 of this conversation with Joey comes out. You won't want to miss this conversation because I think there are some very fundamental things that Joey shares with us in relation to the mindset that you need to build a business. And he's absolutely got the runs on the board. Imagine coming from a foreign country into Australia and not being able to speak the language, having all of those challenges, but being able to build a successful business in such a short period of time. So we've got to listen to people like Joey because they have much to share in relation to the mindset of building a successful business, particularly under that sort of pressure and those sorts of obstacles. So make sure you subscribe, hit the notifications so you can check out the second part of my conversation with Joey.
You've been listening to the ToolShed. If this podcast struck a chord with you, make sure you spread the word by sharing it with your mates in the building industry. We love your help to make the building industry better for everyone involved.